Yeah, but a lot change. I all start running miles upon miles upon miles. I know where that come from. It just started running.
Yeah, I see that. Because I used to do that Nike run up thing. I said,
yeah. It's putting up them numbers, but
he's trying to make niggas look bad, man.
But more times I even forget to cut it on now. Like when I go running,
yeah.
I even forget to cut it on. Because I know how much miles I running now. You see what I'm saying?
Oh,
like I know
okay, I got you.
At certain points I know I run a mile. At certain points I know I run 2 miles.
You got it in your head now.
Yeah.
Alright, so she up if you want to share it.
Oh yeah, so just share it on Facebook?
Oh, no, fuck, I didn't even get the title entry. What I can do, I can share it. I can share it right now and then I can document it.
Yeah, because my boy, he really
You looking forward?
Yeah, he cussed me out a second ago like, "Hey, you ain't tell me what's going on. Like, please let me know what's going on."
Yeah. Well, he ain't there for me in a minute. He want update on your status.
No. He just was like, I was coming on your podcast, so he's like, "Yo, just send me the link." But he living for a lot of days, you see.
Okay. Yeah, I can document it right now so you can share that. Bang. Put the title too. That's a hard title topic. There's a new administration talking about it though.
No.
DNA was pushing it hard.
I give them much respect, boy.
Yeah, but that's major, boy.
Because the way people is demonize people who went to that round,
Yeah, I don't know, and it don't make no sense to me, but that's why I'm talking about, but that don't make no sense. No sense, a freaking plan. You should see the tag now,
Alright, then. Wait, the way they demonize your boy?
And with no reason, you know. For the stupidest of reasons. Just off of propaganda with their hair.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
The thing is, but your boy, I stopped drinking,
Yeah.
At one point I had to stop drinking, but like right now I love a Guinness or two, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But you could even ask my girl, but like at one point it was just no alcohol. I don't see it.
Right.
And I just was into the blazing, but at the same time I was running 8 miles, 10 miles on a Saturday morning, just waking up and doing this. You know what I'm saying? So I find out, going to the doctor for a regular checkup, and I ask him, like, "Hey, this is my concern. Why this happening?" And he tell me, say, "Yo, your lung capacity increase."
What?
I say, with the combustion? Because smoke is combustion, you say, man. But he was like, "That's how ganja work, boy."
Wow.
So.
That's interesting. All right, we can talk more about that, because I need to find out about that.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I just know a lot of people I saw who was big start smoking and then
they lose weight.
I said, boy, like, there's something in this thing. Got some incredible weight loss powers.
But you know it does, though.
I know. I see the results.
It is.
I see it for myself.
That's the number one thing. You know what I mean?
See the results, boy.
Boy, I was at 199.
Wow.
I was hitting 200, boy, and for my size, boy, I was obese.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I had my doctor in New York tell me, say, boy, just try the meds.
Try
the meds. But then even before then, I was losing weight because I just stopped drinking.
Right.
And so when I stopped, I was beating rum so bad in Nassau, boy. I was drinking every other day.
But that's like freaking that's culture in the world.
My boys called me up on a Tuesday afternoon. Boy, I had a rough day at work. Meet me by Nesbitt.
Culture.
So we sit down and we get a pint. And we shared a Hennessy. You say saying?
Yeah.
And that's how we used to do it. When I get to New York and they cut off the drinking, I drop 10 pounds like that.
Wow.
10 pounds is gone.
Wow.
So it's just a thing to think about.
Alright, cool. Let me kick this off now then. Alright, welcome back to the Under the Rug podcast. And this is the first time I am not broadcasting from Nassau. I call this is my future home. We are here in Freeport, Grand Bahama. This is where I had to come to find my good light-skinned brother from way back, who I ain't seen in plenty years, and who actually, and I don't think I ever told anybody this, but has inspired me to actually do this podcast, because there was a time when you and I think it was Sawyer Boy one time, you had a video out there years ago on Facebook doing a podcast, and I was like, man, that's cool. I'm interested in doing that. And also, you were the first talk show that I ever was on in life, ever. Now I've been on interviews on radio and stuff, but your show back in the day was the first talk show that I was on. And it was a great deal of respect I had from then, because it was, for one, it was a new radio station, a new talk radio station, and you were the second show in the lineup. And so, and plus you were young, and I think that was your first show. First show. So you didn't have to do it. Inexperienced, young, and you had a whole rebel like me on your show who you didn't know prior to.
I didn't know you from a campaign.
Right. I think it was just off of the memes I used to do back then on Facebook, and you invited me on the show from then. So you really got me into talk radio. So I must pay that respect to you and let the world know.
We're trying to make you cry.
No, but we have Mr. Teej Grant, Anthony Grant. You got George Grant on Facebook. What you want us to call you now, Teej? What's your name now that you would like to be referred to?
Yo, it don't even matter. None of it is my real name anyway. So you call me whatever you want to call me. Just
okay.
Call me a nigga. That's it. You know what I mean? Call me whatever you want to call me. It doesn't matter anyway. Grant,
right.
The last name is a fraud. You know what I mean? It ain't my real last name. So call me whatever way. Just call me Brethren.
Just call you Brethren. Brother. All right, cool. We can rock with that. So today, we want to tackle a topic that's very controversial. Very controversial. And we seem to be creeping along. I think the only party that even mentioned doing it was the DNA in this upcoming election. You know, they put it front and center of their campaign. And it wasn't even for legalization. No. It was for decriminalization, which is a step. You know what I mean? It's a step in the right direction. I'm for legalization, and I don't smoke or any of that, but I just think it's crazy that a plant is illegal. That just doesn't make sense to me. No. But it's a step in the right direction, and we didn't hear any other parties mentioning it. So, Teej, why do you think we are so against marijuana legalization in this country, based on your experience?
Everybody too damn Christian.
Okay.
But let me kick some facts to you real quick. We are so behind this. Colorado decriminalized marijuana in 1974. 1974. That's when Colorado did it. We in 2017 here in the Bahamas, and we still have a substance that isn't as addictive as cigarettes. A substance that is less destructive than alcohol, and people are still telling me they hate the smell of marijuana smoke. They don't want to be around cannabis smokers. They can't live in the same apartment complex as cannabis smokers. Matter of fact, they'll call the police for me. Some people call the police and say, yo, I smell cannabis smoke around my neighborhood. Please find out which criminal around here doing all. So the demonization way, it just comes from a religious place. It's nothing other than that. People could drink all they want because they drink at church. You know what I'm saying? And they can do whatever they want. They can eat however they want, even though the Bible against gluttony. People are still gluttonous. You know what I mean?
But is it religious based? Because I don't know the Bible like the back of my hand. But does the Bible mention like marijuana anywhere?
Never.
So where does the religious ties come in when it comes to people's demonization of marijuana?
Well, it's very easy to influence or brainwash a religious person. You know?
Well, they're already brainwashed.
Right. you already started from a brainwashed place.
Right.
And so it's very easy to brainwash them. And so when the pharmaceutical industry kicked in and they started utilizing the media to push this propaganda like, yo, marijuana is all bad, everybody took it and ran with it, especially the church. And this at a time where televangelism was at an all-time high. You know what I mean? So I mean, when you looking at it from that perspective, religion has a lot to do with it, man. A lot. And the people around here, they use religious reasons to combat that, combat cannabis or herbs.
What's the number one thing that they come back with when you have a conversation about marijuana or why it should be legal? What's the one thing, the one knock against it that they come with?
Psychosis. People is trip out or something and lace their joint. You know what I mean? You can go crazy. It's a gateway drug. But I mean, psychosis is the number one here. People always think that somebody can lace your joint and that you can go crazy. You have the sandalins looking at a wall and punching the wall.
With no evidence.
With no evidence. no evidence. No statistical data. No scientific data. They just saying these things.
Right.
So I mean.
But what that goes to is, like you said, if it comes from a religious place, you don't need evidence to be a Christian.
No.
You understand? Because they don't have evidence for these beliefs that they have. Right. So they don't need evidence to say, well, this thing will make you trip out. Right. And I think a lot of it is anecdotal because they may know one person who they know that smoke dope and all they do is sit around the corner or sit on the blocks and they base every person on that person that they know.
Well, let's look at it like this. I have a cousin that lives in Miami.
back in the 90s. Now, his family only knew him to smoke marijuana because he was comfortable with letting them know that much. But he never told them that, yo, I doing things on the side. Just because they know that they would be like, yo, just don't come inside the house. Worried that he may steal some things and so people associated with people like that. And so even though you may not be like that, they always say, yo, that's how my brother got on crack. That's how my brother
Okay, so that's the old gateway drug.
The old gateway drug that holds no weight.
That's crazy to me how people just use anecdotal evidence to completely demonize a freaking plant. This is ridiculous. You can get locked up for being a freaking gardener. You understand? This makes no sense to me.
Right.
And I wonder if people actually think about these things.
Let me kick it up a notch further for you. Hemp, that has nothing to do with cannabis. Hemp is completely different from cannabis. People always tie them in to be the same. We have hemp products all throughout the Bahamas in certain stores. Yet, if you were to grow a hemp plant in the Bahamas right now, you can be persecuted.
For hemp?
For hemp.
And you said
that's they sell in stores today.
But I could go in fresh market and see hemp seeds.
Of course.
So
I got hemp soap in the bathroom right now. This hat right here is made from hemp.
And from what I understand, and I've seen a couple documentaries, hemp is one of the most versatile products, if not the most versatile products, and it makes the best products. And what I like, was there a company back in the day that wanted to make money, and they saw that hemp was going to cut into their profits or something, and so they.
Well, it's big pharma, pharmaceuticals. You know what I mean? But I mean, if you look at the background of hemp, the U.S. Constitution written on hemp. You know,
right?
Bibles have been written on hemp. A lot of England is built with hempcrete and not concrete.
Right.
You know what I mean? They use hemp for fuel. A lot of people wearing clothing that's made from hemp. And so, I mean, hemp is all around, but yet if you grow it here in the Bahamas, where we can grow it plentiful, you can be persecuted.
This is what I'm saying. And you said hemp is different from marijuana. It's not the same plant.
Yeah. No,
it's like a family,
it's
or
family.
Okay.
It's in a family, but you cannot get high from hemp. You can't smoke hemp.
So it doesn't have the THC, I think it is?
It does not. It does not. It has very low levels. Low levels that it would never be traceable in your system.
And the way the law is written,
hemp is included in that? Like
well, they call it Indian hemp. First of all, we need to reword our whole constitution right now in the Bahamas. They call it Indian hemp on the books. And so I guess that all falls under the umbrella. Cannabis
also
and hemp.
In the law, it says Indian hemp.
Indian hemp.
So it doesn't say marijuana or anything.
Correct.
It just says Indian hemp, and anything that falls
under
that category. It just so happens that marijuana falls under that.
Correct.
Wow. Okay, so give us a history. I don't know if you know the detailed story as to how it became illegal. How did Indian hemp become illegal? Is it the same in the U.S. as well? Is it under Indian hemp, or is it?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure how it is in the U.S. But you know, in the U.S. they constantly like they take reformative measures to change this, and so I guess now they're slowly erasing it. You know, but as for us, we're still under that. And there.
All right, so now give me another knock against marijuana, sure, because we got the saying you're crazy.
Yeah.
You got it's a gateway drug.
Yeah.
What other reasons people come at you with when it comes to their
disapproval
of marijuana being legalized?
That is super addictive and that'll make you super lazy. You know what I mean? You'll never be productive in society.
Is it addictive?
No. As a matter of fact, coffee is more addictive than cannabis.
Really?
And what I find here in the Bahamas, why you find so many dudes doing whatever they want to do for some herb is because they smoke it on a backwood paper. And so when you smoke on a backwood leaf, you basically smoking a processed tobacco leaf. So just think about processed food and then think about a processed leaf, tobacco leaf. It's 10 times worse. You know what I mean? And so that has addictive properties that will completely send you crazy. Yes.
So it's more so what they're smoking it in.
I call the company name, man. It's Backwood. They have yes, they know what their product does. The people who consume their product, they have a warning on the pack. Yes, Backwood. That's the name of the company. Yeah.
Well, you know what I've been hearing recently. I've been hearing conversations about like more so addictive personalities.
Yeah.
So like, let's say you just have a tendency to be addicted to things that give you a certain feeling. So it's not necessarily the thing, but it's you that tends to get addictive because you continue to seek a certain feeling from things.
Right.
So if if it's not marijuana, you may be addicted to alcohol. If it's not alcohol, you'll be addicted to food.
Come on,
if it's
man.
not food, you'll be addicted to sex or whatever. Like it's just
Come
your
on, man.
personality that gets you. Is it more of a personality thing or the product itself?
It's more of the
Or a combination.
I don't know because I ain't there. You know what I mean? I do have an addictive personality to a certain extent, but it's just like, hold on one second. Take my phone. Yeah, it's just like I like the way certain things make me feel, but does that mean that I'm gonna do whatever for it? No.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean? I love sex.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I will never be a rapist.
Right.
That's just something I cannot do.
So it's a level of control.
You have to have a level of control in order to operate in life. Look here, we have people who have the worst food addictions in the world here in the Bahamas. Our diseases say so.
Man.
Our lifestyle diseases say so. I don't need no evidence for that. All the evidence laid in front of you.
Jeez.
We are one of the most obese countries in the world. We eating processed food every single day. People worried about having my spliff getting laced. I worried about people eating laced food
Exactly.
voluntarily.
Yeah, I mean, because if you look at and this is one of the main reasons why I stopped eating meat.
Yeah.
I only eat seafood.
Okay,
I
God,
eat, like,
bless up, my brother. I on that run, as you can tell. I on that run.
You to be Rasta.
No.
But like when it comes to meat, I didn't trust the industry and what they were doing to foods to increase their profits.
Right.
So when it came to making meat look, more attractive, when it came to producing more meat, producing meat cheaper, just so you can make more money, I just got afraid of what was happening to the meat, and that's why I stopped eating meat. And I rather take a chance with the fish caught out of water,
of course,
snappers. Yeah, but I don't want to say grouper because there's an idea in here.
Right. That's swai. Yeah, that's what we call it out.
But that was the main reason why I stopped eating meat because of all the processing that it goes through.
Of course.
To get here.
It's a capitalist system, my brother.
Right. So from I guess wherever the farm to your table, what happens in between, I lost trust in that.
But rightfully so. Rightfully so. Things don't come from the farm no more, babe. Right. Look around, babe. When you go in the produce section in the Bahamas in any supermarket, it's the saddest thing ever. You just go there and you lost. Yeah. You don't know. You know what you came there to get, but you don't see it. And if you see it, it ain't fresh. The only things we getting good around here is planting consistently. You understand what I'm saying? You could get bananas consistently around here.
Yeah. I got a couple of bouncy bananas.
Oh, okay. All right. But please shout them out though.
Yeah, man.
Because
I don't see them no more though. I don't see them no more. I had them a couple of times, but I don't see them around no more. I don't know what happened.
You get consistent good strawberries around here, blueberries, oranges, any of that? Not really, bro. But even worse, we indulge in this processed food over here more so than anybody else in our region. And I mean, the cancer rate soaring. I mean, diabetes, heart disease. I mean,
but we don't seem to be concerned about that. And this is what gets me when it comes to marijuana, right? When people are against it, they want to pretend as though they care so much about your health. This is the reason why they're against it.
Correct.
But listen off what we just were speaking about, but you ain't saying nothing but the food and stuff
no.
we're eating, the air that we're taking in. So are you really concerned about health?
It's a bigger agenda. Like people would talk all the mess they would talk about when they're talking about marijuana smoke, but they would not blink an eye. Government in parliament, they would never say, yo, the dump smoke is killing people. Like, you know what I mean? And this is the issue. People on the street wouldn't even say that, but they would find a problem with you blowing a little bit of marijuana smoke around the neighborhood. Right. You get what I'm saying? All of a sudden, our neighborhood is infiltrated. You know what I mean? But they would never say, yo, our neighborhood is infiltrated if they smell the dump smoke coming through the neighborhood.
Or even cigarette smoke.
Well, I ain't even talking about cigarette smoke.
Cigarettes tell you, listen, we can kill you.
Tell you. From the 70s.
And they say, well, you know what, give me 3 of them, please. It's like it's not even a deterrent.
The Surgeon General telling you.
It tells you it's going to kill you.
Tell you. And it says it. It says it, but they still do it.
I forgot which country it was. I just saw a video the other day. But it's a particular country where they can't, they have to use plain font. They can't put the brand name of the cigarette. And they have like these horrendous pictures on the cigarette boxes, like with they'll have a black heart or black lungs. Like it's the most grotesque pictures on front of the cigarette boxes, and they still fly.
People still buy it,
and it's expensive. I think
people still buy it.
I think it's Australia. If I'm
people still buy it. They knock their carton together and take out one and smoke it. Yeah, that's what they do.
But confusing me. So it's like, are you really concerned with health? Because you seem to be okay with cigarettes. Which kills people, which tells you it's going to kill you. You seem to be okay with alcohol, which, I mean, I don't know how much accidents and how many people die from alcohol or, abuse that happens because of alcohol, how many families are destroyed because of alcohol. You celebrate alcohol, but you demonize a freaking plant.
Herb.
It makes
demonize the herb.
No sense to me whatsoever.
And people have been fighting this fight for a long time, my brother. Like, at this point, we realize it's a bigger agenda. Let me tell you a story about the NFL. The NFL has players that I think is over 40,000 former players who file lawsuits against the NFL for brain-related injuries.
Right.
People suffer from CTE. Cannabis protects the brain from CTE.
Oh, really?
So you can continue to play football if you smoke cannabis and not have CTE-related injuries. CTE, let me give you an example of what CTE does. Javon Belcher, who killed his girlfriend and then killed himself in front of the Kansas City Chiefs training facility, he had CTE. Junior Seau, who killed himself, he had CTE, along with another list of deceased players who have or had CTE. So, I mean, the NFL would not, they refuse to let their players smoke cannabis. It's a cannabis, like, they have no room, they have no tolerance for cannabis.
Even in the States where it's legal.
Even in the States where it's legal, if they play for Denver Broncos in Colorado, if they're caught with marijuana in their system, and it takes 28 days to get out, they will be suspended, maybe for the season. So you gotta think, with all the research that's put into this, to know that cannabis can kind of coat the brain and protect it from CTE, you would think that they would want to save their players' life. Or save their players' lives.
Yeah.
But they don't. And so now we have to say, okay, it's a bigger thing. It's bigger than us.
Right.
It's a bigger agenda, but people still... Wait, I stopped watching football because of this.
Oh, really?
You understand what I'm saying? People who hit me up on Facebook talking about Miami Dolphins suck and Miami...
Right.
I don't care. I really don't.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Especially after what happened with Kaepernick, but that's a different story.
Right.
But yeah, no, I stopped watching football because of this. I would never let my children play football. If I have a son in the future, like, I would never let him go on the football field.
Right. And it makes sense because
Never.
you're just a tool that they use up, get a life out of it, and then throw it in the box just to make money.
They know that over 70% of them are going to be broke again in 2 years.
Yeah.
You understand?
They don't care.
And they have medical bills up the ass.
Yeah.
But they still let it go. So
they don't care. And it's like, and the irony is that one of their biggest sponsors are the alcohol companies. So it's like you demonize
Budweiser.
You're demonizing marijuana, which, like you said, has been proven to protect your players from the very head injuries that a lot of them suffer from and have died from. You demonize that, but then you praise alcohol.
Right.
Because it's bringing you all the big dollars.
Right.
This is one of your major sponsors.
Budweiser.
So what
big.
it's all about is, at the end of this, the money.
Money.
All about money.
Greedy people. You understand? And the reason why marijuana gets the fight, the fight originated from a capitalist standpoint. And people need to understand that in order to understand why cannabis is demonized today. We will have a better Bahamas if we had cannabis, if we had coffee shops or dispensaries, if we had them outnumber our liquor stores. We would have a better Bahamas. We'd have a better Bahamas if we had them outnumber our web shops. But that does not exist, my brother. Only poison exists here in our societies. Resources here? For what? You know, people don't do it. That's what they think of us. And so we got to look at it from a money standpoint. And the Bahamas has completely taken the side of the capitalists. You know what I mean? We support them the most. You can't go in our grocery store and have a choice. Let's say you don't want to support Kellogg's. Kellogg's makes cereal. Right. If you don't want to support Kellogg's, you really don't have much of another choice.
No, okay, and that's what
you understand?
The big companies do is they buy up
Correct.
all of the other companies, so you have no choice.
Correct.
You think you're buying something else.
Right.
But at the end of the day, if you read the fine print on the back of the box and see who really owns this company,
exactly,
it's under the big conglomerate that you're trying to avoid.
So let me put it to you like this. If this cereal, Raisin Bran, or any, I'm just calling names for this doesn't happen for real. I don't want to get sued from them big companies. You know, but let's just say if this cereal right here tears down the membranes around your brain and makes it easier for a condition like CTE to creep in on a football player, they'll pump that The NFL would sponsor that, or they would sponsor the NFL. And and they'll say cannabis is bad because cannabis does the opposite of what that does and how destructive that is. The simplest things, bro, the simplest things that are on our shelves, they get a pass because they fight something that's healthy. You know what I'm saying? And so it's a bigger agenda.
And these major companies, they have lobbyists that go to these politicians.
Yes.
And they lobby.
Talk the thing.
Yeah, so it's all about money. And they spend a whole lot of money lobbying
Yes.
to get legislation in their favor.
Yes.
Now let's dive into the medical portion of it.
Okay.
Let's talk about the benefits medically. Because we've been hearing about, the medicinal properties in marijuana.
Yeah.
How it can help certain conditions.
Yep.
Give us some of those things, some of the things outside, because you already spoke about, with the hair trauma.
Yeah, with the
How it
CTE.
helps with that. What other benefits can our society see from marijuana?
Oh boy. I mean, we have cancer issues here, right?
Most definitely.
So if we have cancer issues here, marijuana could definitely be a benefit here. We also have depression issues here. We have the elevated cases of depression here are so alarming, but nobody pays notice. Nobody takes notice of it. But even that, and I can speak to that personally. And everything else in between, if you have glaucoma, if you have asthma, you know what I mean? It's just certain things. Don't talk about epilepsy. You know what I mean? We got kids taking CBD, which is the cannabis oil, directly and curing their epilepsy. They go from having over 100 seizures a day to having none at all. You know what I mean? So, I mean, the benefits medicinally are there. Are we ready to accept it? Are we ready to move away from the pharmaceutical industry here, which is completely black market? If you want to talk about the pharmaceutical industry here in the Bahamas, it's completely black market. Completely. We have an opioid addiction growing here in the Bahamas. Meaning that if you're on hydrocodone or if you're on any of that, or Percocet, that means that you basically can substitute that for heroin. And so we don't have a heroin problem here. We don't have people tying belts up to their arms and injecting themselves. But at the same time, we have an opioid addiction, which is the same thing, where people take pills and feel a certain way. To the point where you can go in the ghetto in Freeport and in Nassau and find these pills for sale. You don't even need to do that. You can go to a pharmacy, certain pharmacies where people know certain people and have certain code words for pharmacists. And you can get these things. And so you don't need to have heroin in a syringe to have an opioid problem. We have an opioid problem right here. Just look at the crime in Nassau. That ain't natural. You're not normal with that. So, yeah. I mean, and let me touch on that real quick. They use cannabis in certain outpatient facilities for opioid addiction, for heroin addiction. Which means that it helps them to get over their addiction to heroin.
But I thought they told me marijuana causes addiction.
Right.
You're telling me now marijuana helps to deal with addiction?
It's supposed to be a gateway drug, right? But yeah, it does help. I'm trying to find Dr. Gary Whitman is his name, from Canacare Docs, and he has a outpatient facility in Massachusetts, one in Maine. And basically, this is his quote. He said, "We have a statewide epidemic of opioid deaths. As soon as we can get people off opioids to a non-addicting substance, and medical marijuana is non-addicting, I think it would dramatically impact the amount of opioid death." I gotta learn how to say that. I don't know how to say that shit. I gotta learn how to say that. Opioid.
What's the base opioid? Is it heroin? Is it heroin or cocaine?
I don't know. No, it ain't cocaine, right? But I don't even know the science behind it.
Okay.
But all I know is heroin is from that.
Okay.
And I know that it causes death. That's all I've seen it happen in Miami when I was going to school. We had a bad heroin epidemic going around the area where I was living. I saw people drop down, yo. You know what I mean? I saw people drop down from it. But now I'm learning that they actually use cannabis to fight deaths related to heroin addiction.
Wow.
Yes. People with HIV/AIDS, they use cannabis all the time.
And I've heard that HIV, like you said, cancer.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so what's the agenda here? Why would these companies continue to suppress this information from the public? Tell me what it is.
Bro, like I said, it's a capitalist system, way, and we bought into it. And I can't stress this enough, way. people out there who exporting this food to us, they don't care about black people living. We're 83% black country. They don't care about whether our black asses live or die. They don't care. Matter of fact, they're using population control right now. People can say, yo, he's a conspiracy theorist or whatever. I don't care.
Right.
But the facts are this. You go in your grocery store and you can find more things that'll send you to a pharmacy, and then you got a pharmacy that can send you to your option of any grave around here. You know what I'm saying? And this is the battle that we have to fight. It's a capitalist battle, my brother. Like, for real. People have agendas that are completely evil to make money.
Right.
And they make money off of us because we don't know, because we're ignorant. I was there. I admit I was ignorant. I want to curse, but I don't want to curse so bad. But look, I was there, babe. I was so asleep. And just seeing what it is now, bro, it's a capitalist system. People don't care whether black people live or die on this side.
Now, when you say you were so asleep, what exactly do you mean? What were you oblivious to?
Everything, bro. Where do I start? You know what I mean? Where do I start? But I had stopped smoking cannabis. You know what I mean?
I remember.
Yeah. So I was going on 7 years. I quit, and I had a real. Let me tell you what happened. I ate an edible. And I had a real bad trip.
Now I hear don't play. Listen, I hear they so potent and they were
right. My friend put too much inside one cake, and so when I ate a piece of that cake, I freaked out, and so I was just like, nope,
okay,
it's
so
not.
This was what caused you to stop.
Yes. So I was like, no, this ain't for me no more. You know what I mean? Now this time, I didn't know I was addicted to the tobacco wrap, to the backwood. I didn't know that because that's how I used to smoke it. And I was having like night sweats and chills and stuff, and I lost my appetite. And I went to my doctor scared, like, yo, what's happening? And he said, yo, you just have a tobacco addiction. Like, you just need to get off that. You need a nicotine patch. And I was like, I don't smoke that.
Right.
But he was like, you do. You wrap it around your herb every time. And he was right. And so with the knowledge that I had from, I would say, December 2015, from what my doctor told me as far as using cannabis for certain things, especially, I really didn't have a problem with depression, but I had more of a problem with my recovery after exercising and stuff. And so I used it for
endurance?
I used it for run recovery. No,
okay,
so after I run, I would smoke a little bit, and then after that, the day after, I'd be ready to run another 5 miles. When before, the day after that, my muscles would be worn out.
So you mean that's why Michael Phelps was smoking?
Correct. And Usain Bolt, yes.
Wow.
Yes. These people, champions, do smoke marijuana. Yes.
Wow. Because a lot of people could think that marijuana mellows you out or slows you down.
It depends.
So for a lot of people like me, like I don't understand. Like I said, I don't smoke. I don't have nothing against it, but I don't smoke, so I wouldn't understand. I only can go off of what I hear people say that it does. So when you hear like the fastest woman in the world smoking marijuana,
smoking herb.
Well, so you're telling me that actually helps when it comes to recovery.
Yes. But
even, I think you were saying earlier, even when it comes to endurance, because you said it made you open up your lungs to run.
Yeah, yes, my lung capacity grew. You understand? So now I can run up to 10 miles right now, easily, non-stop. But before, I could only run about 3 non-stop. You know what I mean? And that was before I started. But let me break it down to you though, because Ricky Williams started a gym in California that allows you to smoke while you work out. Okay. And so this helps people like that. This helps them to work out. This helps them to zero in and lock in on their workout. And California finds nothing wrong with it. They said, okay, we let you do that. And so, and you said how people think marijuana mellows you out. It goes to show how much we know about cannabis. We don't know cannabis has uppers and cannabis has relaxes.
I recently learned about it.
We don't know. We don't know that we have a sativa, we have an indica, and we don't know what sativa does. We don't know what indica does. All we know is dope. And please, this is 2017, Bahamians. Stop calling cannabis dope. Call it herb. You know what I mean? You call it weed even. I don't even like the word weed. Call it that even.
That's why I still say smoking dope.
Stop calling it dope. We ain't 70 years old, man. My daddy is say dope.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I still say it from time to time, so I get it. So Richard, I'll try. I'll do my best to stop saying dope.
I got you.
It just sounds so funny. It have a certain ring to it.
Yeah, and it's a quick way to say things. Include, like, with our dialect, it just rolls off the tongue, you know what I mean?
You know what I mean? It got a certain ring to it.
Yeah.
Right? So, moving further into the benefits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let us know what you feel or how you feel we as in the Bahamas can benefit. Let's say if we were to legalize marijuana tomorrow, what are some of the benefits? Because we have seen in the United States, like the states that have legalized it, I mean, I hear they talking about so much tax revenue, they don't know what to do with this money that they make it. So let's go into some of the benefits that we can see here in the Bahamas if we were to move forward with the legalization of marijuana. From your perspective, what you feel we would benefit from?
Let me just share this with you. And when you mentioned the benefits, I thought about something. In Colorado, every dollar spent in the cannabis industry generates between $2.13 and $2.40 in economic activity.
Really?
So just think about that. You trade in $1 for almost $2.40 most times on the high end. Yo, the benefits go without saying, yo. Like if you flew into Freeport today, and thank you for coming over here, by the way, because
I love you. I tell you this, like
to notice your first show here is kind of special. So, but when you flew over Freeport, what you saw looking down, bro? You saw Barco, you saw oil tanks, you saw storage tanks, you saw the container port, you saw the shipyard. We here manufacture. We have industries here already. We know how to do this kind of work. You know what I mean? So just imagine if we start manufacturing cannabis to that extent. Imagine the kind of economic impact it would have on Grand Bahama if we don't even use it for our people. If we just export, you know what I mean? Because I like new money. I don't like money just circulating around. I want money come from foreign into the country. So that's why just imagine if we had people manufacturing hemp, manufacturing cannabis, what kind of money it could make. You talking about Colorado, who paying off a debt that they had for over decades, bro? You know what I mean? So the economic benefits speak for itself. Right. I think we hammered that home enough. Right. Let's talk about this side of it. If we were to legalize and have a district here, and I said this on Coffee Break a long time ago. I was awake during that part because I was asleep other parts, but I was awake during that part. But like even with that, yo, bro, like I don't think we could fail. I don't think cannabis makes too much money. There's always a demand, whether it's medicinally, whether it's recreationally. We have people here in high positions who have been cured from cancer, who take cannabis through edibles, through treats, or they take it in a tea form. But we have people, real astute people, you know what I mean, whatever that means, who have taken cannabis and it's helped them tremendously, bro. But they don't want to say because of the demonization. These aren't young people like me, just for the record. These are older people, you know what I mean? People who probably were against it previously and now for it. But the benefits are there, bro, and people are always going to spend money towards something like that, which can save a life.
So what about the people now that are going to say, oh, but people already smoking this too much of this dope? So they call it people smoking this dope. If you legalize it now, you have everybody knows smoke marijuana. So what about the people that feel as though once it's legalized, you're now going to have suddenly everybody can start smoking it?
That's why we have case studies. You know what I mean? That's why you study other places that have legalized marijuana. And if you do so, you'd realize there's no increase in people who picked up a joint after legalization. People just don't pick up a joint and say, yo, it's illegal now, let me do it. Right. If you don't like herb, you don't like herb. It ain't for everybody. You know what I mean? Just like alcohol ain't for everybody, but Bahamians swear it is. Right. And just like sugar ain't for everybody, just like meat ain't for everybody. Herb ain't for everybody. Right. We understand that. Yeah. We ain't trying to push it on you. I just saying I don't want duck and jump over no fence because I see the man come in and I try and enjoy a good spliff. Well, that's what I saying.
Well, let's talk about that as far as the social benefits. What because I think a lot of crime stems from the fact that marijuana is illegal. You know what I mean? Because like you say, you gotta run, you gotta have your gun because you scared someone to thief your stash and all of this.
Of course.
So let's talk about that aspect of legalizing it. How it can help in that regard when it comes to crime.
When these young men ain't got no jobs, bro, and they hustling a little bit of weed, they find out that a little bit of weed could turn into a lot of weed. And so instead of making $120 a day, they now banking over $1,000 a day. And these dudes have to share it up with their runners, you know what I mean? And so now they have an industry on this herb through their corners in neighborhoods. And now they're in danger. because other people hungry, other people want that money. They don't see no way to go and break into some of these corporate offices and get it, but they see a way to this dude to go get it. So what does that dude do? He strap himself up with a gun, and he strap other people around him up with guns. If herb is regularized, we eliminate that problem immediately.
Right.
And so now you have less guns on the street. You got you got less dudes out there looking at dudes like this and targeting certain dudes like this. You have a legit industry. You can employ certain dudes who have been doing this on a novice level for some time. I know some dudes growing some herb. You understand? They ain't the best. But if you educate these brothers, they will do very well.
They might come for you. You gotta watch out.
No, they can't come for me. They can't. Let me tell you something. I think
Who was it? It was Bodie. Bodie got up and said he know where the guns are. He said, I know where the guns are. Next thing you know, the police was outside waiting on him. Be careful now.
No, I don't know where no guns are. You know what I mean? But as far everybody know around here, if they call the man for me today, they can find a piece of herb on me. Everybody know that. That ain't no secret.
Okay.
The police demand them know that.
Okay.
If they stop me, they know that they can find a piece of herb on me. Is it worth it? And I'm the right person to do that too. I know how to fight that. I know how to make sense of it. I know how to bring it to. I promise you, if that ever happens to me, Parliament got to talk with that. That's how much ruckus I can kick up. I can bun this place down like that. You understand? So they can have to talk about it. So yeah, so they ain't gonna mess with somebody like me, especially I light skin too. We know people like me get a pass.
Light skin privilege.
We get a pass. You understand?
Right.
All my dark skin friends, they don't get that privilege. You understand? They find out they got a piece of spliff. Okay, we going for him. You know what I mean? But you know, I mean, bro, it isn't that bad. People just need to relax, chill out.
Well, let's talk about that. You talk about advocacy, right? How do we push this agenda forward? How do we move forward into getting it legalized? Because we recognize the benefits, we recognize what it can do for this country.
Yeah.
How do we now move from this point where we are now demonizing it, locking people up for a joint and all these little small, portions of marijuana? How do we take it from this point and get it to, like, let's say the number man,
Yeah.
numbers was illegal.
Yeah.
You understand? Now it ain't.
Look here, if I feel inspired by sabaz or flowers or any of them to do anything, I feel inspired to open up a dispensary even though it's illegal. You know what I mean? Because it's the Bohemian Dream. They already paved this way for us. This is a dream of ours, bro, to do it this way. Matter of fact, we don't want the easy way no more. You know what I mean? But at the same time, the way to legalization, I think the first step would be education. But education has been going on for quite some time now. People reject it. So decriminalize it, and you force people to know, because they got to know what's coming in their neighborhoods, or what's been in their neighborhoods, what's been in their neighborhoods all along. Don't mind these older people, but these older people, they was smoking herb back in the day too. You understand? I hate when they act like they was never on that run. I can't stand it. I stand up and I correct them, like, but y'all was into it more so than anybody else.
Acting all righteous now.
So don't let them fool you. But the first step would be to educate, and then the second step would be to criminalize. So people could be more educated about it, and then you can move into some other aspects of it, medicinal or recreational, or we could do it for export. You know what I mean? We have the whole of Canada who can't get enough herb. They can't get enough. You hear me?
I hear if I'm not mistaken, they buy it from Jamaica now.
They growing it, and they still looking for it overseas. You understand? St. Vincent and the Grenadines are the biggest producers of cannabis today in the Caribbean. You understand? And so they have yet to be touched. Wow. So just imagine when other countries touch into them, their economies, and they going through legalization right now.
Okay.
Currently, they're going through that. Unless it is, somebody could correct me if it is. But bro, our economy will be behind. You understand? Jamaica, they continuing to grow and excel, even though their dollar kind of bad. But St. Vincent and the Grenadines will excel, and then we can still be here looking like, yo, what the hell? We only
we always late. We always gotta be the last ones.
Well, you hear what Minister say about punctuality, eh?
Yeah.
So I hope he there, because
I hope so too.
I've heard other prime ministers use that word, punctuality, and it hasn't been that way. So I hope he there.
I hope so too. But let me go through some of these comments. Hello McDonald says, Teej, bring back your radio show. Teej, you come back on radio?
Bro, like I say, bro, radio in Nassau has taught me a lot of things. Respect to the Guardian Radio family who gave me the opportunity to do it. knowing what I know now, I'd probably do a podcast similar to what you're doing.
Right.
But to go back on radio, that'll be a tough call for me right now.
Limitations.
Yeah.
You can't be as free as, and like you say, you woke now, you ain't sleep.
I was so sleep on coffee break, people. I'm sorry. I can apologize to y'all now. You understand?
Alyssa Renee, this is one of our listeners from Canada.
Oh, respect.
She says, huge green grapes are the best.
Yeah.
I guess you can find good grapes here still. Simone Cooper says, real talk. Tania Burrows says, what form coats the brain? Smoking or taking orally or what? What form of marijuana coats the brain? We talking about CTE.
As long as you get in your proper dosage of THC and CBD, any form you take it in can protect the brain from CTE. Most of the former NFL players, they prefer to smoke it. You know what I mean? That's the most common way. That's the most traditional way.
Right.
That's the way that I like to. So yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, and Patrina says, I really admire the stand of not being part of the demand for this injurious sport. Kudos, George.
Real.
All right, and then we got, someone say something going on with my mic.
Hey, that you want? Check your mic.
I know what's going on. Anyhow, Susan McDowell has a question. She says, I have a question in regard to the addiction debate. I have known two males for over 10 years that cannot eat until they smoke when they need to smoke. They are unbearable. And before you blame it on the backwards, they use rolling papers. I'm not being adversarial because I totally support the legalization for medical purposes. Healthcare professional. How do you address that?
They greedy. They like to eat. You understand? they want their stomach to open up. They want to feel the munchies. You understand? I got a pack of your cookies right now.
Yeah.
You understand? And I swear, me and my girlfriend, she looking at me right now. She gave me the like, me and my girlfriend, we're gonna eat them. I may, she may not partake, right. So she may not know what the munchies feel like, but I do.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's just a good feeling. We like it. You understand? Just like everything else. Some people like to shower before they eat.
Okay.
You understand? And my mother would not eat unless she showers.
What?
She will not eat. She will not sit down.
She dirty.
No. Well. Let me reword. She will not eat dinner unless she showers. When she gets home in the evening, if she does not shower, she's not going to eat. Period.
Maybe that's traditional.
Period. And so, yeah, so people, they have their rituals, their daily rituals. So I guess that's what that is.
Okay.
I don't know what that is.
So they just greedy.
Yeah, but to say that they're addicted though, like for instance, I went to Texas, you understand? Did a week over there. I never had a concern about me getting herb. I wasn't beating down people over there say, yo, where herb at? You know, let me get herb. I just went a week without. And so it was no problem to me. I didn't lose no sleep. So
I think that's important. I think it affects people differently. Everyone's different. So the effect it may have on you, it may not have on somebody else.
Correct.
So I guess you just monitor that, and I guess you can, act accordingly based on your
people
traits.
People need to learn control. And Bahamians, like I ain't getting down on Bahamians, right? Because I love my people, Dread. But we don't have self-control when it comes to certain things, bro. And that go beyond herb. That ain't even on herb. That go beyond herb. And so, and everybody who watching this, they know that. Yeah. That's a fact.
Yeah, for sure. All right, what else we have here? Sine, I hope that I'm pronouncing your name right. Sine Forbes says it can be decriminalized and educate. Okay, there is no reason why the seized MJ couldn't be tapped into the medical MJ industry.
True. I mean, so what she's saying is there's no reason why when the police confiscate herb from certain people who grow in it or who have it in abundance, why that herb can't be used medicinally. There is a problem with that, Sine, because it's not regularized. And so people can't inspect where they're growing it. And so they don't know how it's growing. They don't know the potency. They don't know the quality of the herb. And that's where we have problems here in the Bahamas. Unless we address that, we can't move forward with legalization on a medicinal front or a recreational front.
I got
you. Yeah.
Okay, and Susan is back saying, I wish that was it. They are addicted. They actually cannot eat. She's greedy. That's your answer? LOL.
No,
she's convinced.
Well, I will tell Susan this. You know what I mean? If they are addicted, that's on them. You know what I mean? We got people out here who are addicted to sugar, yo. You know what I mean?
Most
you sell cookies. You should know.
Yeah, I know.
You know.
My damn slogan is simply addictive.
You know,
so
you're the drug dealer.
I understand.
You're the drug dealer.
I'm addicted to sugar, but I have to, like you said, it's control.
Yeah.
So I have to control my addiction. I know I love sweets. I know I sweet mouth. I know if I see something that got sugar on it, I have to resist reaching for that thing.
Susan, you can't compare an addiction like that to other addictions. For instance, if somebody's addicted to cocaine, they come, they take your microwave, they take your players, they take your speakers, they take your camera. They walk in and they'll take everything that they could make money from to buy more cocaine.
Yes.
These dudes, they just smoking and eating. You know what I mean? If that's addiction, then okay, let's take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that over that any day.
Yeah, most definitely. So it's just, you just gotta, monitor. We all have addictive tendencies to a degree, but you can't just. It's not fair to just outright blame the substance for your addiction and lack of control.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you know how many people are addicted to alcohol in this town?
The addiction is, you can't compare that addiction to, you know what I mean? It's not an addiction in the grand scheme of things. Like you cannot compare somebody standing in front of a liquor store 24/7 to somebody who likes to smoke herb. You know what I mean? It's just no comparison.
Yeah.
It's a ridiculous comparison.
You gotta be cautious.
Yeah.
So this one says, Melissa Laurie says they need to take a little break. It'll be back. 30-day fast. What you mean, Melissa?
I would Melissa on that. You know.
Take a break from
yeah. It's only right. So for me, a healthy exercise for me is to go on a fast. I go on a fast to cleanse my mind, cleanse my body, to get focus, to refocus. And that's all food. You know what I mean? The same time I do that, I'll do that off of herb too. I want to take breaks in between because I know anything in excess altogether may not be good. And so I take breaks just to test myself. You know what I mean? I don't know where I'm going to be, you know what I mean, in 10 years, 15 years from now. I may have to do without. So I just always challenge myself to go without. And that's everything. That's food primarily, because food is my number one addiction. And not herb. You know what I mean? Then coffee is my number 2. And then herb is my number 3. Yeah.
Okay. Let me switch. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, brother. Yeah, they say something going on with my mic. Listen, I apologize, people. I don't know what's happening. The mic plug in. The blue light on. I don't know what's going on. It was working earlier, but it ain't working now. But such is life. These things happen. I on the road. I ain't in my normal studio. So we have some issues that we have to deal with, but we deal with them. Hopefully y'all can hear me over, the little echo. I hope you can hear what I'm saying anyway. But I apologize for that technical issue. But let me see if I can go through any more comments. Okay. Boy, look at Susan. Want to go back and forth with you on this, man?
Susan need a spliff. Susan, I could roll one up for you. We could partake together. I'm here for you.
Well, let me see. Jason Thompson says, hold on one second. All right. Jason says, I think you oversimplified the types of marijuana and the components that are addictive and those that are beneficial.
I mean, we talking to the Bohemian people, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. We could delve a little deeper into that, you know what I mean? But at the same time, we ain't even reached ground zero yet on this cannabis fight. People still wrapping herb and foil around here. You get what I'm saying? They don't even know how to cure the vibe. And so, yeah, you have to speak on these like this. When you're speaking about cannabis, we have to break ground. Educationally, we have to break ground. We have to start somewhere. Yeah. And we want people open to listen. Like even Susan. We want Susan to continue to listen, to get this education, so she can read up on this after the show, because we can't give Susan all the answers. And we can't give Jason all the answers. Right. But
the dialogue is important.
The dialogue is important. You understand? And I would trust that people just go ahead and read for themselves instead of just taking my word or taking your word for it.
And that's what we don't do. We don't research. See, now Melissa telling me the mic was fine. I confused. I don't know. So you're all telling me the mic ain't working. Melissa said, wait, let me see. No, I can't hear it. Anyway, I can use this one. All right. Yeah, Melissa said the mic is fine, but I can't hear it on now. But yeah, the dialogue is important. It gets the conversation started, and hopefully we do our own research, like you said. And I think that's our problem in this country, We don't tend to research things. We go off a hearsay, and then we spread that as though it's the truth.
That was me. Yeah. That was me, bro. I used to be there. Even when I was on radio at one point, that was me. I would never go and search the truth for myself. But at some point, you can't listen to people all the time. Listening to people get me so far in life, you know what I mean? And so far wasn't that far. And so you have to go ahead and research for yourself.
Yeah, most definitely. So anyhow, we can wrap this show up. It was a great show. Let me see. Okay, we ain't got no extra comments. We can read. This Susan Grant. Let me read Susan last one, because Susan want to take you to task. She says, "I'm not comparing. It's either addicting or not. Like to smoke or need to smoke. I give up because weed smokers don't steal microwaves. Yikes."
Susan. And I love Susan. Susan, that's my Jack. You know, she's an avid listener to all the shows, and she always has great contributions. But I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I think it's upon us to weigh the benefits against the risks, right?
Yeah.
And see which outweighs what. And we can look at the way that it is now, and I think we would all surmise that this isn't working.
Right.
The way that it is now isn't working. You have jail is overcrowded. Most of them for which is probably a little small, you know, possession of what we consider dangerous drugs, which is a plant.
But if not, they have been arrested for trying to make $1 off of it. And in making $1 off of it, they have certain instruments that they use in street hustling that they may get arrested for too.
Yeah.
And so we have a grand scope of people, like we have a lot of people being arrested just off of this substance, and it's not necessary.
Right. So it's about macro thinking. Let's look at the big picture here. And like I said, let's weigh the benefits against the risks, right? What's good against evil? What's the big picture here? And we've given examples to where it's benefited a lot of places that have moved forward, and if it's not decriminalization or if it's like just legalizing it for medicinal purposes, that have taken these steps, and we have seen how they have benefited from it. So let's really have a full conversation. Let's analyze it and let's compare. Because, I mean, like I said, from what I see, this ain't working, boy. This ain't working at all. No. And like I said, I think about it, I'm a simple person. I'm a simple guy. I think about it from a real grassroots ground level. I cannot see how it makes sense for a plant to be illegal. It just doesn't make sense to me. And then when we have far more dangerous substances like alcohol, like cigarettes, in some cases like these drugs that they prescribe for you to take, these drugs are dangerous. So when I see far more dangerous things legal and this isn't, it just doesn't make sense to me, and that's why I support it.
Let me just give some statistics, you know, to people out there who listen right now. Fewer than 10%, and this could address some of our sister Susan problems. Fewer than 10% of those who try marijuana ever end up meeting the clinical criteria for dependence. 10%, whereas 32% of tobacco users and 15% of alcohol users do. So that alone speaks volumes. You know what I mean? We have to be realistic about the facts. That's on drugpolicy.org, by the way, if you want to go research that.
Well, go look it up, please. And Teej, and like in case we were having, in case there were mic issues in the beginning, let me just tell it again. Teej, my light-skinned brother from way back, got me. I credit him for being instrumental in me doing this actual podcast because, like I said, he was the first talk show that I ever was on in life. Coffee Break with Teej in 2012.
That's crazy.
That the radio station launched, I think, April 2012.
April 10th, 2012. I would never forget my first show. I was scared as shit. You know what I mean? But people like you helped me get through that time where I was just afraid.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even though I was an extrovert, this is what I wanted. You know, I was scared and I was afraid. But I made it happen, and it was people like you who helped me to make it happen.
And like I said, you took a lot of risk. You had strippers on the show. You had me on the show who nobody knew at the time, and I was just a rebel, radical, you know, just against almost everything at that point. And I still against a lot of things. Chrissy still tell me I just like to go oppose. I say, listen, I oppose with a purpose. If it don't make sense, I oppose it. Simple as that. Just like marijuana being illegal, I oppose it because it don't make sense. But like I said, you were instrumental because you were the first talk show that I was on, and I think I was on your show maybe about 3 or 4 times. And then I saw you and Sawyer Boy did a podcast. There was a video. I saw it. I was like, okay, cool. And that really made me, go ahead, buy the microphones, and I said, man, you know what? I can just kick it off and I can just start it. So I want to say big ups to you, my brother Teej. You were instrumental in me doing the Under the Rug podcast, and so it's great that I could finally get to have you on the show now. And I think you made some great contributions. You gave a lot of good information, a lot of factual information, and hopefully the people would do their own homework, go back, research, so that we could move forward on this issue.
Let me shout out a few people before I go, because I know you popular and you famous.
No, man, not me. No, man.
So let me shout out a few people. Big up to my sis, Sharice. She ain't feeling too well right now, but big up, I love her. Big up Odetta, my new nephew, Miles. And also big up my boy Shadi over there in Nassau. Big up Chester.
I think Chester watching it all.
Yeah, big up LaShawn, big up Jason. Big up my boy Henry. Henry listening from Miami right now. And let me tell you about Henry, yo. Me and Henry know each other from we was children. You understand? And he been one of them people who been there for me when I was living in Miami. When I didn't really know much people in that part of town. So he's like a big brother to me. Respect Henry, and respect to everybody out there who ain't scared to let their true colors show. Who ain't scared to express themselves. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we have such an afraid populace of people who just are afraid to really truly express themselves because it's not popular. It's not popular, and now fake is very common. Fake is very normal. And I just want to big up the people who real to themselves. It took me a while to get there. You understand? So I used to be there. I ain't nailing nobody who fake. You know, if you feel fake, if you feel convicted, that's you. But I just saying I was there. And I know it takes a lot of courage in this country to be who you are and speak exactly how you want to speak, from the heart, from the soul, and be this spiritual and be this outspoken. So big ups to everybody out there who doing that and who doing it on a national level. Respect.
Man, listen, ain't nothing I can say after that. That's the perfect closing. So thank you people for watching. Thank you, Teej, for taking part. I mean, I hit sharp and you say, man, let's do it. So I appreciate you. Appreciate you for coming on. Appreciate you for bringing me into this realm of talk radio. And we got to have you back to have more discussions about some other things, because I know you're opinionated on a lot of stuff and I value your opinion. So once again, thank you. And thank you people for tuning in. Until next time.